Hi guys, just a couple of things. I insulate myself from the public mostly. I don't like to venture out too often because, quite frankly, to tell you the truth, that whenever I meet the public, it just disillusions me even more with the amount of what's just going on in this world, the ignorance and the greed everywhere. You know, just the greed of your people these days it's amazing, and everybody just wants more and more and more, and it just I hate seeing that. I hate going out and seeing, people that are already well off and comfortable and want more, and they just don't care about the people that have nothing. There's people starving and dying, and just the ignorance of the general public that, they like to think that they know what's going on, but they really have no idea. And unfortunately, I had to deal with a couple of people yesterday, and normally when I speak to anybody, yes, there I go playing with this again. Normally when I speak to anybody, I usually get back to, I take it to politics, because that's all that really interests me, is politics and what's going on in the world. And this one person that was here yesterday was talking about his daughter's car or whatever, and I was just thinking to myself, I don't care what sort of car your daughter's got. I have no interest whatsoever in what sort of car your daughter's got. And and I mentioned a couple of things to him about what's going on in the world, and did he know anything about the Federal Reserve? He seemed like a reasonably intelligent person. He had no idea about the Federal Reserve. He listens to Parliament and things like that, but really his knowledge of the fundamental things that are going wrong in the world, he had no idea about. He knows that fluoride, he said that fluoride's really bad, and he's got that thing on his tap to take it out. That's about all he knew about what was going on with fluoride. He didn't really understand anything about fluoride, or why it was bad for you, or just that he didn't want to drink it and he didn't want his kids to be drinking it. And I got to tell you, my next pet hate saying is, my first one is, oh, you got to die of something. I can't stand it when people... The other thing is when people say to me, oh, well, really, what are we going to do about it anyway? What can we do about it? It makes me so wild to hear that people just blindly accept anything that's given to them because they want to put it in the too hard basket, or they think that, them speaking out, I don't know, is it fair? Do people not want to get involved because of fear, or they just don't care? They just want to make their own, have their own worldly goods, which in the end mean nothing. You go out and buy this fancy ornament or your fancy sheets or your fancy whatever. In the end, it means nothing. Those things are just items. To me, I'm happy if I've got a bed and food and I'm warm. I would be happy in a shack. And I'm telling you right now, if I was a multi-millionaire, I would not be living in this obscene lifestyle. I would probably still be living in a shack somewhere, or living very meagerly. And to tell you the honest truth, if I was wealthy, I'd probably end up giving all my money away to people that not deserve it, need it more than I would need it. But, I just watch people day to day, and they're just so wrapped up in making their own wealth, and that things they just want things, items, houses, cars, better everything. And I used to think the Australians were pretty clued in on what's going on, but really, after speaking to a few people yesterday, They have no idea. They honestly think that Australia is insulated from what's going on in the world. And the other thing is, the Australians are the government's giving out a $40,000 bonus to people, first home buyers. So the housing market is being propped up by this $40,000 home loan. And it's just false. What they're doing is false. They're keeping the prices of houses inflated, and it's making it look like everything's okay when it's not okay. The jobs are 50% down in the papers, and they're going down even more, and it says, even John Howard's hinting that we haven't seen the worst of it. Well, duh. Anybody that knows anything about politics or what's going on in the world knows that we haven't even scratched it yet. And if Australians think they're insulated from this, they are in for a very rude shock. I actually had somebody said to me yesterday that, we don't have to worry about America because we don't sell to America. And when I heard that statement, it sort of dumbfounded me, because I thought, and I said to him, I said, no, we don't sell to America, we sell to China. We sell all our goods to China, who make it for the Americans and the rest of the world. And just one little fact like that would, shows the level of ignorance in this country, that they think, well, we don't sell anything to America, so it doesn't matter. No, we sell to China. All our commodities go to China, our ore and minerals, and then they sell it to the rest of the world. And if the rest of the world's not buying, well, China's not going to buy it off us or anybody else that's using our materials. So I'm just disillusioned with everything. I'm disillusioned with people, the greed and the want for more, and that, just having a house and warm, having food isn't enough. They just want more things that mean nothing. Anyway, that's my little rant for the day. Smile and have a nice day, guys.